Good morning and welcome to the Bobby Moore Stand. My name is Chris. It is now Friday, the 29th of August. We have 4 days left until the end of the transfer window, and lo and behold, we are suddenly making moves in the transfer market, which is amazing to see. It really, really is. Now, I expect today that we will be announcing the two signings of Matias Fernandez and also Songa to Magasa. Hopefully, I'm not butchering his name there. What am I going to talk about today? Well, I will be talking about our incoming transfers. Absolutely. I want to break down a couple of those players that we've brought in and try to understand exactly what they're going to bring to the team. I'm also going to be talking about some potential outgoings because I guess with incomings, you could arguably say there probably will be some outgoings as well because we do not have, which has been well documented, a great deal of money to spend. So I will be talking about that. But I'll also be talking a bit about the changes that this could represent for our team in terms of how we're going to play and what these guys are really going to bring and offer to the first team, to that first 11. But look, before I continue, please do like and subscribe to the Bobby Moore Stand. It really is much appreciated. We mention it all the time. It doesn't take much to like, but we really, really do appreciate it. And if you do like what we do, thank you very much. It's really appreciated. You probably realise I'm finding it a bit hard to breathe today. Stupidly, it is a bit stupid, really. Thought I'd put on one of my old West Ham shirts to do this video. And I've got quite a few. I have got quite a few, but I managed to pull out the 2015-16 shirt, I think it was, when we first moved to the London Stadium. Now, I can tell you, in 2015-16, I could fit into this shirt no problem at all. I thought I still could, stupidly. I can't. It's so tight, and it's making it really hard to breathe. It doesn't look good either. Doesn't look good at all. I had it on just now. My missus saw me and said, Jesus, that looks a bit tight for you. Unless you like man boobs, of course, then this is definitely the type of shirt for you. But no one wants to be hearing about Chris and his man boobs today. Let's talk about West Ham United. Let's talk about Matias Fernandez that I've already alluded to already. Now, Matias Fernandez, we all know about this player. He was Southampton's standout player last season. £42 million. It seems like quite a lot of money for my liking, particularly when you bear in mind that we do not have a great deal of money to spend, which has been very much well documented. But nevertheless, we don't really have an option. We don't. You know, we need to sign players, and clubs will know that. They will know that. Southampton haven't got the 50 million quid that they were looking for, but you know they've fallen far short. They haven't. They've made a fair few quid out of West Ham over the course of the last couple of years now. When you factor in 30 million quid for James Ward-Prowse, 42 million pound for Matias Fernandez. Of course, I don't know what that 42 million is going to be made up of, whether that's going to be, you know, a certain amount fixed, some of it based on add-ons and various things that player needs to achieve or we need to achieve as a club. But regardless, it's a decent chunk of money and it's certainly a nice tidy profit when you factor in Southampton only paid around about 15 million euros for him about 12 months ago. But look, it is what it is. Matias Fernandez is a good player. I think a lot of people already know about him, which is good because he has played in the Premier League. He is not an unknown quantity to playing in the Premier League. He's not untested, let's put it that way. What do we know about him? Well, he is a very, very technical player. There's no doubt about that. I've seen him play on countless occasions. Very technical, very, very composed with the ball, both in possession and also out of possession. His awareness is extremely good as well, which I think is really, really important. He's a very switched on player, let's put it that way. I think his awareness of what's going on around him, his ability to control and dictate play in the middle of the park is probably some of the key strengths that Matias Fernandez has. And guess what? Those are some of the things that we really needed to address in our midfield. He's also got two good feet, very good close control, can get himself out of trouble quite well. He isn't a goal scorer. That's one thing I will say about him. He's not a goal scorer, but he is a goal creator. And I think that in itself is worth its weight in gold because even though we haven't really scored many this season, you could arguably say that we haven't really been providing our attacking players with enough creativity or much of a creative outlet for them to actually score goals. Our midfield is non-existent creatively right now. It is, apart from Paqueta. But again, you know, when you've got JWP or when you've got someone like Rodriguez sitting behind them, it's very, very hard to get that ball into the final third of the pitch, particularly when we're passing backwards and sideways, predominantly for about 95% of every single game that we play. So Matias Fernandez is going to offer us something different in that respect. Now, in addition to him, we all also know about the other player that we are very, very close to announcing as well. And he is, of course, Songatu Magasa. I hope I'm not butchering his name here. I think it's pronounced like that. Now, he's coming from Monaco for a fee in the region of around about 17.3 million. Now, what do we know about him? And what's the point? What do I know about him? And I would be honest with you, I don't know a great deal about him, or at least I didn't know a great deal about him until I started doing a bit of research. My research predominantly consisted of looking at YouTube, watching videos of him, and of course, that always looks good. But I've also been looking at some of these statistics over the course of the last couple of seasons. Now, what you can say about this guy, first of all, is a little bit like Fernandez, 2 good feet, okay? Excellent ability in terms of winning the ball back, something that we desperately need at West Ham. He's also got a bit of pace about him. He is a box-to-box midfielder. Again, something that we do not have right now. Good passer of the ball. I think that's a prerequisite for a midfield player, in my opinion, anyway. He has ability to ping a pass with a great deal of accuracy as well. So he can move the ball up into the final thirds of the pitch very, very quickly. Again, that sounds fantastic to me. My only kind of concern, and I don't want to go negative here, is that he is untested in the Premier League. If you look at the course of the last couple of seasons at Monaco, he played 23 games, 23 league appearances in Ligue 1 last season. The season prior to that, he made around about 21 appearances. So he is not a first name on a team sheet type of player. He isn't. He's still young. You know, he's 21 years of age, and he is playing for a very good team in Monaco. So arguably, you can say he is a very good player. To even get that amount of games and that many minutes, he must be a good player. Plus, he's also at the age where he can grow, develop, and essentially a player with a great deal of potential. And potential sell-on value as well for West Ham, which is, I guess, something that we should always be looking at rather than selling or buying these aging players that we have done over the course of the last few years. So I like the look of him. I do like the look of him. But will he be a player that we can rely upon within the next couple of games? I genuinely don't know. I hope he is. I'd love to see him go in that midfield along with someone like Matias Fernandez and offer us a whole different dynamic. But I guess time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. Now, I'm hoping that, well, this video, obviously, it's around about 9 o'clock. It's going to be going about 9 o'clock this morning. I'm hoping that both of these players will be announced by 12 o'clock because if they are, it will enable them to be available for selection on Sunday against Forest. And I think that will give the fans a huge lift, particularly for the away fans that are turning up for that game. So, yeah, fingers crossed we can get those both confirmed and both announced by 12 o'clock today. Let's talk about rumours. Let's talk about rumours as well for a second. Now, one player that we have been rumoured that we could well be signing is Jurrien Timber's twin brother, a guy called Quinten Timber. Currently plays for Feyenoord. Again, a central midfield player, a Dutch international. He's got 4 caps over the course of the last year. Again, young guy. I think he's around about 23, 24 years of age. Now, for me, I've done a bit of research on Timber. He, for me, is someone that really does excite me because he genuinely is ticking pretty much every box that we need ticking to go into that midfield area for West Ham. He really is. Ball control. Now, I'm going to read some of this stuff off here, and it really, really does kind of make you salivate a little bit because, as I said, this is what we need. He possesses exceptional ball control, allowing him to navigate across the field with finesse and precision. I don't think I've seen that at West Ham for quite some time, particularly from a midfield player. Passing ability, exceptional long and short range passing skills. We need that. Agility. Despite being of a shorter nature, Quinten's agility is a significant asset, allowing him to outmaneuver his opponents and find space. Now, he's also physical. Physicality is a key attribute of Timber as well. He's a very muscular lad, it says here, particularly in the lower body. I'm assuming that means his legs and his hips. I hope it does. Which also contributes to his agility and his power, making him a formidable presence on the field. Tactical vision. Quinten's peripheral vision and game sense are evident in his ability to read the game extremely well and also find free space to receive the ball and to give that ball as well. Now, these are things that we desperately need at West Ham. don't want to get too excited here because first off, we haven't signed the guy, but he does sound good, doesn't he? He definitely does sound good. He's also got strong leadership skills as well, apparently. We don't have any leaders at West Ham. We don't. So if he could come in and be a bit of a voice, be one of those guys that can really rally the troops, then I'm all for that. I really, really am. Now, for every positive you can talk about a player, there always seems to be something wrong, don't there? There always seems to be something wrong. And I'm hoping this is not a big deal, actually, because if you look at the last couple of years, in actual fact, one thing that Timber has unfortunately experienced is some injury issues, specifically related to his knees. Now, last season, just to give you an example of this, he missed pretty much the whole of the second half of last season due to a torn knee ligament. So he missed around about 17 games in that period of time. Season before that, he was also out for around about a month and a half, again with another knee issue. So over the course of the last 2 years, this guy's been out for 190 days. That doesn't sound great, but he is young and currently he is fit. He's played the last couple of games since the start of the season. So he seems to be, he seems to be raring to go. He seems to be fit and ready. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case. But ultimately, I'm hoping we can sign him because he definitely looks like a player to me. Well, at least he sounds like a really good player. So those three players, if we can bring those three players, well, we've already got two. If we can bring in Justin Timber into the team. Quinton Timber. What am I talking about? If we can bring him into the team, that ultimately is going to have a huge impact on our midfield. It's the complete polar opposite of what we have right now. What we're looking at, and this is where I'm talking about change at West Ham. We're talking about youth. You're talking about two 21-year-olds and a 23-year-old. We're talking about youth. We're talking about athleticism. Athleticism is something that we do not have whatsoever in midfield, arguably in other areas of the pitch as well, but definitely not in midfield. We're talking about physicality, we're talking about pace, and we're talking about people that can carry the ball forward. All three of those players offer that. That, to me, is enough to get me excited for the time being, at least until I see them play. It sounds really positive, and I'm really hoping that that can solve a huge problem for us. Now, other than that, let's kind of address some rumours as well, because there are a lot of rumours, as you would expect. We don't always talk about some of these transfer rumours because quite often we poo-poo most of this because a lot of it is a load of nonsense. A lot of it is basically lazy journalism and it's news that's put out there just to kind of appease the fans. But actually, conversely, it kind of irates and angers the fans, if anything else. But there are a couple of players that I think are worth noting and talking about. One of which is Victor Boniface. Now, he is no stranger to pretty much most West Ham fans. We came up against him in the Europa League before. Currently playing for, I think, Bayer Leverkusen. Now, he is 24 years old. He is as strong as an ox, right? He's a physical striker. Apparently, he failed a medical quite recently, or he failed a fitness test. He was going to make a move to Italy, but unfortunately, that didn't happen for him. But fortunately, it could work in our favour. They're looking at this being maybe a loan with an option to buy for probably somewhere in the region of between 20 to 23 million, so I'm told. Now, if we can get a player like that in at West Ham, that also excites me because actually Boniface is a player that I've been talking about for probably about 2 years now. He is young, he is physical, he knows where the back of the net is. He could be a focal point for West Ham up front. He absolutely could. He's got excellent hold-up play. He can bring other people into play. He can finish. That, to me, sounds like it could be a great signing. Again, the only concern with him, again, like a lot of players that we seem to be linked with sometimes, maybe not necessarily at this moment in time, but certainly over the years, are injury issues. We've always signed players that have got some kind of injury track record. You look at Nicholas Füllkrug as an example. He had that prior to coming to West Ham. Boniface, well, look, he made 27 starts last season. I think made 16 sub-appearances, actually, with it, including that 27. So within that, he's scored 11 goals, got 1 assist. But like I say, he does have a few niggles there, and I'm hoping that I'd love to get him into West Ham's team. I mean, look, for me, he's a better player than Füllkrug. He's a better player than Callum Wilson, an aging Callum Wilson. And it offers more competition. It really does. And, let's be honest, we do need another striker. We really, really do. Even if Graham Potter chooses to stick 3 on the bench and not put them on until the 85th minute against Wolves. But let's forget about that for the moment. Other than Boniface, we are also and have been linked with for quite some time Francolino Jew from FC Midtjylland. Now, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. He's from Guinea-Bissau, currently playing in the Danish Super League. He's scored somewhere around about 1 goal in every 2 games. So it's around about 30 goals in 60 games. Not the greatest, but not the worst. I mean, he's playing in the Danish league. He's looking, the fee for him is around about 10 million euros. It's not a great deal of money, actually. I think it's probably worth a gamble by all accounts, particularly if we don't get Boniface. Then I do feel that we would need to bring in another striker. Then maybe getting a younger striker, someone like Jew, into West Ham would be a good thing. Well, it can only be a good thing, in my opinion. And then other rumours to talk about, well, goalkeepers. I don't know what's going on with this goalkeeper situation. Obviously, we signed Hermansen. He was a Potter pick. Potter wanted him. David Sullivan wanted Victor John, or John Victor, whatever you want to call him. It now seems apparently clear that we are back in for Victor John, despite the fact that we left him at the airport. How do I feel about that? Interestingly, I think it's a little bit crazy. I'm surprised that we've gone back in for him. But after further thought, I'm actually okay with it because, again, it offers more competition for Hermansen. I also think what this does mean is that potentially Areola could be on his way. It's something that we did discuss yesterday when we did a live, or 2 days ago when we did a live. I don't know where Areola is going to go. I don't know if he will go, but regardless, I think it would be good to get another goalkeeper in. And look, we're talking about a Brazilian player of the year, apparently, in their league. He is a decent goalkeeper. Yeah, why not? Let's bring him in. You know, we need to have a bigger squad. We need to bolster it. If it's going to cost us a lot of money, like 8 million euros, which I still think is a lot of money for West Ham when you factor in the amount of money that we are spending on the likes of Matias Fernandez as an example, and maybe a few of these other players I mentioned as well. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Other than that, we've also been linked with a defender. I'll tell you what, a defender is definitely something we need because our defence is absolutely atrocious right now. Defender that, again, I've never heard of. His name is Dimitri. We do like a Dimitri when he's on song. This guy's not Dimitri Payet. His name is Dimitri Colau. Currently playing for Paris FC, the same team that we signed Conte from as well. 20-year-old, look, he's a prospect. He's not someone that's going to go and slip straight into our first team, but he is a player that we are linked with. So let's see what happens there. There are other players as well, of course, that we're being linked with, but I'm not going to go through all of them. It's impossible. I haven't got enough time, and you probably have not enough time to watch this video for me to go through all of those links. So these are the ones that are looking possible. I think possible, and I would be happy with. Definitely Boniface, 100%. Jew, I don't know a great deal about him, but look, again, we could do with some more competition up front. And again, going back to Timber, Quinton Timber, look, yeah, definitely. If we could get those 3 in midfield, I would be a very, very happy fan. Very, very happy indeed. So, yeah, that is it for players in at this moment. I'm hoping that we can get in 4. A total of 4. Maybe I'm being a little bit optimistic, maybe even 5. If I'm being honest with you, I'd actually rather we need 6 players. I don't think 6 is going to happen. But what you can be sure of is that players will go out, as I said already. One player in particular that I do think may well be leaving West Ham if, and it is kind of a big if, we end up signing a third midfield player, particularly Timber. And I think if we do that, then it could well be likely that we could be waving goodbye to Lucas Paqueta. Now, I don't want to lose him. I love Paqueta. On his day, he's a fantastic player. He is the one player that can get, and he's probably one of the only few players at West Ham that can get, fans off their seats. But I'm going to find it pretty hard. I think West Ham will find it hard to bring in these players, spend that kind of money without recouping a bit more money. It frustrates me to say that. It really does, because I want to hold on to Paqueta. I really do. I think he'd complement those midfielders so well. But we could be waving goodbye to him. Now, the rumour is, and it is a rumour, that Aston Villa have had some inquiries on him. Now, this was reported by a journalist by the name of Santi Auna. Now, Santi Auna, I think his name is pronounced, he's a journalist for Foot Mercato. He is the same journalist that reported Paqueta leaving Lyon and coming to West Ham. He was one of the first people to report that. He's also one of the first people to report that Aston Villa are now going to go after Paqueta as well. It's a possibility. Let's be honest. It is a possibility. Do I want to see him go? Absolutely not. But if it means that we can sell him bring in the money to bring in a much more robust midfield, essentially build a team that is going to be incredibly hard to beat, a team that's going to win more games, then yeah, I would accept him leaving West Ham, albeit for the right price. 60 million euros. Well, look, I mean, we were worried at one point that it was going to be less than that, right? I think 60 million is not the worst thing in the world, but it would be really sad to see Paqueta go, because I think he's got so much more to offer. He really, really does. But first and foremost, West Ham is bigger than any single player. It really is. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with these outgoings. Obviously, there's still some rumours about Andy Irvine potentially going to Celtic, Guido Rodriguez potentially going back to Spain as well. I think we will see a few of those players in. My honest opinion is I think by the end of this weekend, we may well be seeing 3 in and 3 out, which obviously frees up wages to bring in the new players, and also maybe gives us the option to try and sign that 4th or maybe even 5th elusive players come the end of the transfer window. So that is the hope. Now, last but not least, one thing that I really, really want to see, irrespective of whoever we bring in, is fight. Because I have not seen enough fight from those West Ham players so far this season. In actual fact, it's been the complete opposite of fight. It's been lacking so much aggression, there's none. When you look at the Chelsea game, we did not get a single yellow card and we lost that game 5-1 in the London derby. That's unacceptable. I'll tell you, I watched, and I keep seeing this video popping up on my social media feed quite recently. It was when Julian Dix put in a challenge. I say a challenge, it was more like a karate kick where he decapitated a player. I think it was in 1992 against Sunderland. Now, those were the days. I loved watching football back in the 90s because, yes, football, you can't get away with that kind of stuff anymore. But the one thing that you did see from players at West Ham, and this has been synonymous with West Ham for years and years and years, is fight. People that really, really do have their heart on their badge, wear their heart on their sleeve, and they go out there and they fight for the badge. I'm not seeing enough of that right now. I want to see a team of leaders. I want to see each and every one of them leading by example on and off the pitch. I want to hear some noise on that pitch. I don't want to see players shrugging their shoulders, sulking. I want to see them getting back up if we concede a goal and fighting, not conceding and caving in like we have been doing, because it's not acceptable, right? The one thing that we expect as West Ham fans is fight. Okay, if they give it their all and we lose a game, I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that, providing I've seen West Ham trying to put in a performance. So moving forward, we've got Forest next, a game I will be going to. I'm really, really hopeful that we can. I'm not going to say, well, of course I'm hopeful we can get a result, but I'm realistic enough to know that it's going to be very hard to do that because they have such a strong squad, a lot of strength in depth. Their bench is so much stronger than ours. But you know what? With West Ham, you never know. We are renowned for being the team that loses the most ridiculous games and sometimes can win games we're not expected to win. I'm really hoping that will be the case on Sunday. So yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. We will be back again over the course of the weekend, most likely probably after the Forest game. And certainly just when the transfer window closes, no doubt we will be putting some more videos out then as well, where hopefully we can be talking about more players coming in. But look, let's all get behind the boys. Let's all reunite. Let's unite as a fan base, right? I think it's really, really important we do that. Get behind the players, and hopefully the players can really start putting a shift, and we can get that first elusive win. Hopefully against Forest this weekend. Come on, you Whites.